A very good morning to all. Myself, Ms. Rupal Desai from Srimati LP Savani Vidya Bhavan. Students, today we'll start the poem number 5, A Legend of the Northland. Now, before to start the poem, we just wanted to give you the introduction of the poem. A Legend of the Northland is a ballad. A ballad is a poem narrating a story in a short stanza. Ballads are a part of folk culture or popular culture and the passed on orally from one generation to the next. In the poem, there are 16 stanzas, and these stanzas will tell us the stories. This story is of the Northland area, the area which is near the North Pole. This exact place is not specified, but Northland means the area in the northernmost part of the earth. For example, we can say that near the North Pole. Legend means a historical story, one which is very old and has been passed on from generation to generation. So, dear students, today we'll start the poem stanza wise. So, we'll start with the stanza number 1. Away, away in the Northland, where the hours on the day are few and the nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep from through. So, in this stanza, in this region around the North Pole, the poet says the duration of the day is very less because its position is such that the sun rays reach for a very less time. When this area is experiencing winter season, the duration of night is very long and the daytime hours are very less. In line number 4, they refers to the people who live in this region. The poet says that the duration of the night time is so long that the people cannot sleep them through. If they go to bed, take a few hours of sleep and then they wake up, it is still night time. He wants to emphasize on the duration of the night is very, very long. Now we'll move to the next second stanza, where they harness the swift reindeer to the sledges when it snows, and the children look like bears' cubs in their funny furry clothes. Student will just see the meaning. Sledges. Sledges means a vehicle on runners for conveying loads or passengers over snow. To harness, the word which means to tie the reindeers with a rope to a sledge so that it can be used for transportation. Now, what the second stanza says? The Northland region experiences severe cold conditions. It is a snowy area. The reindeer is an animal which is found in this polar region. People tie the reindeers to sledges and then the reindeers pull the sledges. He adds that the children look like young ones of a bear because they wear very funny looking clothes made up of fur, which is just like the furry skin of bear. Now the stanza number 3. They tell them a curious story. I don't believe this true. And yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. Now in this, the poet wants to say that in the line number 1, they refers to the parents of elders and them refers to the children or the young generation. The elders of the Northland region tell a strange and interesting story to the young generation. The poet says that he doesn't think that the story is true, but if he tells the story to the reader, maybe the reader could learn a lesson from it. The story gives a very important message. So the message today student will discuss with the stanza number 4. Now we'll do stanza number 4 and 5 together. I'll read both the stanza together. Once, when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below and walked about it preaching, just as he did, he came to the door of a cottage in traveling round the earth, where a little woman was making cakes and baking them on the hearth. Student will write the meaning. Saint Peter. Now Saint Peter, a disciple, a messenger of Jesus Christ. Then preaching. The word preaching means to give a religious talk. The word hearth, that is in stanza number 5, which means the fireplace where we can do some cooking. Now student, in this stanza number 4, the writer, the poet says, the story is about the Saint Peter. When Saint Peter used to live in the world and went around giving religious lectures to the people, just like all saints do. Then an incident happened. Now what the incident that is given in stanza number 5? When Saint Peter was moving around the world and he delivered a lecture, a religious lecture to the people, he reached the door of one cottage where a small woman was making a cake, She was baking the cake in the fireplace. So the woman was baking the cake, and the man, Saint Peter, who reached at the door of her cottage. Now, stanza number 6. And being faint with fasting, for the day was almost done, he asked her from her store of cakes to give him a single one. Now, students will have the meaning faint. Faint means to be weak. So, in the stanza, the poet says that as Saint Peter, when he reached one of the cottage, at the outside of the door he was standing, from there he saw that one woman was baking a cake. So, as Saint Peter had not been eating anything for the entire day, so he was very hungry and was very feeling weak. So, he went to this woman who was baking a cake, and he asked for one cake out of the many cakes that she had baked. So the man, Saint Peter, who was very weak and he feeling so hungry, so he was asking for a cake where the woman was preparing many cakes. Now, stanza number 7 and 8 will get together. Stanza number 7. So, she made a very little cake, but as it baking lay, she looked at it, and though it seemed too large to give away, therefore she needed another, and still a smaller one. But it looked, when she turned it over, as large as the first had one. Now students will write the meaning. The first meaning in the stanza number 8, that is kneaded. Kneaded means to make dough from the flour. Now what is the stanza number 7? In stanza number 7, the poet says, the woman was selfish. She did not give cake from her store. Instead, she started making a very small cake for Saint Peter. She did not want to share her things, but when she put the cake for baking, she looked at it and thought that this cake was too big to be given to someone. Then the little miser woman thought that the cake was too big to be given away. So she started making another smaller one. When she looked at that cake, she again felt that it was as big as the previous one. And again she was not at all ready to give this smaller cake to Saint Peter. Now stanza number 9 and 10. Then she took a tiny scrap of dough and rolled it flat and baked it thin as a wafer, but she couldn't part with that. For she said, "My cakes then that seems too small when I eat of them myself are yet too large to give away." So she put them on the shelf. Now student will have the meaning for the stanza number 9, that is scrap. Scrap means very small, tiny amount. Now we'll see the stanza number 9. In third time, the lady took a very small amount of dough and rolled it. She rolled and rolled it. The poet says that she rolled and rolled on the fact that she rolled the dough and made it very, very thin like a wafer and baked it. But she was so greedy that she couldn't give that thin piece of bread to the saint. Stanza number 10. So the woman reasoned that she just thinking about that when she ate the cakes, she felt that they were very small. But if she had to give them to someone, she felt that they were too big to be give away. She put all the cakes on the shelf of her kitchen and she did not give any piece of cake to Saint Peter. Now we'll have stanza 13 and 14. In stanza 13, now you shall build as the birds do, and shall get your scanty food by boring and boring and boring all day in the hard dry wood. Stanza number 14. Then up they went through the chimney, never speaking a word, and out of the top of flew a woodpecker, for she was changed to a bird. Student will have the meaning in stanza number 13, that is scanty. Scanty means very little. Very little. Then we'll have the meaning boring. Boring means to make a hole in something by digging. To make a hole in something by digging. Now in stanza number 13, Saint Peter cursed the woman that she would become a bird because she did not deserve the human form. She shall become a bird, and just like birds, build their houses by boring into the wood and collect very little food by working hard the entire day. Similarly, she would also work hard in the dry wood all the day long and get a little food and make a small place for herself to live in. In stanza number 14, the poet says, as soon as Saint Peter cursed the woman, she did not get a chance to speak for herself. She did not even get a chance to even clear out herself in front of Saint Peter, because that very moment she flew up to the roof through the chimney and flew out in the form of a bird. Saint Peter's curse had converted the woman into a bird. Now we'll have the stanza number 15 and 16. She had a scarlet cap on her head, and that was left the same, but all the rest of her clothes were burned black as a coal in the flame. Stanza number 16. And every country school boy has seen her in the wood, where she lives in the trees till this very day, boring and boring for food. Student will have the meaning in stanza number 15, that is scarlet. The word scarlet means red color, dark red color. Then in stanza number 16 we'll have the word country. Here the country means rural areas. We need to consider country means rural area. Now what the poet says in the stanza number 15. In stanza number 15, when the woman turned into a bird, at that time she was wearing a red colored cap on her head. This cap was there on the bird's head also, but the woman's remaining clothes had burned and turned black in color, just like a coal. In 16th stanza, which is the conclusion of the poem, the poet says that people who live in the countryside, in the rural area where the people are living, even the small children who go to school, seen this kind of a bird in the woods on the trees. They see that the birds, they stays there all the day and keeps on digging and digging the wood with their beak to collect her food. Whenever any child sees this kind of a bird, then his elders tell them this story. They says that the bird used to be a woman earlier. She was very greedy, and so she was cursed by Saint Peter and turned into a bird. They get a teaching that they should not be greedy. So here in this poem, the poet wants to convey a message to the readers that though we had everything, if we have everything, so we should always be ready to share the things with others. We should never become the selfish. We should always ready to help the needy and the poor. Though we have a little, but in that little thing also we should share with others. That is the message what the poet wants to convey through the poem. Thank you.